Prescot town since way back when, crafted by the hands of men. Time is told by gears and springs, magic born from smallest things. Tiny shops with ticking hearts, masters of the clockwork arts, building dreams from metal parts, history in every start. Tick-tock goes the rhythm of life, every second cutting like a knife. In a town where tools were made, legends carved in the watch trade, from ancient crafts to modern day. Prescot.
Hello, and it's a bit different. Normally I'm out and about around Prescot vlogging, which I really enjoy. I really enjoy walking the old streets and discovering something new, hopefully passing it on to you. But today I'm at home, and I'm at home for a reason, because basically I've just come out of hospital, and to cut a long story short, I've had a cancer tumour chopped out. I'm not going to dwell too much on it, but it's I'm in a state of recovery at the moment, so I'm trying to sort of get back on my feet. So the doctor's given me 2 weeks to basically get over it. If I ever get over it. I've also got follow-up treatment as well. So hopefully I'll be okay, but it's cancer. So we don't know. Anything could happen, couldn't it? But I'm not going to worry about that. I'm here to talk about a specific subject that's close to my heart, and that is the preservation of Prescot's history. And as I can't go out and do a proper vlog, I've got all my notes, by the way. Notes that I've been making since Christmas on vlogs. This is how I make my notes. Basically, it consists of a few pages that just remind me of what to say when I'm outside. So it's just basically I can carry these around with me. So I've been making notes on new vlogs that we can do this year outside. But obviously I can't do it outside at the moment because I can't go outside, and I've just got to potter around the house, so I can't just do nothing. So history, the preservation of history, is very important. Some of the things that I've recently acquired off places like eBay and Amazon, things like that. There's a card of John Philip Kemble, a cigarette card, which I've never seen before. It's a unique piece of Prescot history. This is a postcard of the opening of Knowsley Safari Park. That dates from around 1976. It only opened in 1974, so that's an early piece of memorabilia from there. This is a fascinating thing. This is from the Coronation Ball at the Warrington Road Canteen. And it's a dance ball. It's like a programme and a ticket. And I'll just take it out of the folder. You can have a look at that. That's it's an entrance thing, but it also tells you the programme of activities that was going on during the dance ball. Dancing was very popular in the 1950s, and that was published on the eve of Coronation Eve, 1st of June, 1953. So that's a piece of history I've never seen before. So these things cost money, by the way. That alone was almost £20. I've got this. These are just very recent acquisitions, which is an envelope from Edwards Company, like a sticky envelope. Edwards, the publishers at the tram terminal Prescot. I've got an etching of St Mary's Parish Church, which many of you will have seen, but that's a particular lovely item. And this one is a geological survey of the country around Prescot, Lancashire, and that is from 1860. So that will be feeding into a vlog. I'll be using that for a vlog for future things to come. I'll just put this camera on here. I've got a camera at the side that will capture some of the images, some of the acquisitions there, and you can look at them. There we go. Yeah. So they're some of the things that I've acquired over the last few weeks. I've been donated some stuff. I get sometimes members of Born and Raised in Prescot will donate some stuff to us, and they usually come. The stuff that they donate usually comes in bags like this. Like, for instance, this is of an old school friend of mine, but he's also a member Born and Raised in Prescot, Derek Hall, and he's donated these, which were originally they're going to go in a bin, right? So these were going to go into a bin, which would have been a sin for them to go into a bin. So we've got things like this, Prescot Reporter from 1960, and we've also got another one from 1976. I don't know why people keep papers like this. There's usually to line drawers or something, you know, that's the kind of stuff. And he also donated other stuff. So, yeah, that's one of the acquisitions that I've had recently. He lives in Rainhill, and he said, I've got some stuff that's it's going to be a friend actually sort of like passed it on to him and said, do you know anyone who could use this stuff? And he said, yeah. And he contacted me, and I said, yeah, I'd love it, actually. So he sort of, he donated this stuff that's all related to Prescot. All old documents that I still have to go through. This one is from 1898, old document there. And there's various old things in here. There's old pages of the Reporter and newspapers that are basically literally falling apart. And this is from 1927, so this is almost 100 years old. This is a page of the Prescot Reporter, which is fantastic. They need preserving. These things that are being donated need to be catalogued, and they need to be preserved. And that's what this video is all about. How do we save Prescot history? How do we keep it for future generations to enjoy various things that are related to Prescot history? Now, the things I am going to concentrate on today are restoration of these people. These are very fragile. I'll just move these a bit, and I'll just concentrate on the things that I'm actually going to be doing today. And if you enjoy this video, by the way, I may decide to make a series of videos on the preservation of documents that could come in useful for you for family history, mementos. Now these, I'm going to show you here, are part of a set of flyers, and these date from 1915, over 100 years old. These would normally be thrown away. Very lucky to have these. Now when I got these were folded up like that. So they were folded up. I didn't know what they were. Opened them up, and that's what I find. So what I've been doing over the past few days is I've been restoring items like this into a more pristine way. So what that restoration means is, I'll take this one. It means filling in the little gaps in between the documents here as much as I can, and also repairing rips and tears like that. So you would think that would be impossible to repair, but it's not. Actually, it's not that impossible to repair, and I'm going to talk you through the process of doing that today. So I've just got some water, and first of all we're going to talk about I'll just take this document here. There is a way to repair these holes, by the way. You'd think there isn't, but there is. And for that, we use a paper that's similar in colour to what we basically do is draw around the shape of the hole, and we'll cut that out and stick it in there using a special tape, almost invisible, and we do the same here and here. So we know it's been repaired, but to the casual viewer it looks absolutely pristine. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to restore these to archival quality. All the materials we're going to use for this restoration are, I'll just turn this light on here so you can get a better view of that. So all the materials I'm going to be using to restore these items are of archival quality. Now what I mean by archival quality is that professional restorers basically use them. Archival quality materials are things that the museums and libraries have tested for their durability and their longevity. So these are things that are first of all, they're neutral pH neutral, which means they've got no acid in them. The main problem with paper of any kind, I'll just get that copy of the reporter again. The main problem with paper is it's made of wood, obviously, paper, and old paper, the cheaper it's made, the cheaper the quality, the more brittle it becomes. Old newspapers, where you were lucky to see it end, to be still there at the end of the week. If it came out on Monday, if you still had it by Friday and you hadn't burnt it in the fire, you wouldn't have it, But for it to survive 100 years like this has, nearly 100 years, 1927, is a miracle. But over them years, what happens to it is there's an ingredient called, let's see, what's it called? It's called Linco or something, Lincoln. I'll put a note up on the screen what it's actually called. This ingredient in wood actually naturally over time turns acidic. It actually turns acidic, and the acid in the paper causes the paper to deteriorate. So you could have put this in a drawer, well, the person obviously has put it in a drawer or something, and you would see it all go like this, all around the edges of the paper. it gets brittle, you don't have to do anything, by the way. You can just come back to it years and years later and you'll find it like this. And you think, oh, we've had wood mice or wood lice or something that's eaten away at the paper, where it hasn't. It's basically the acid in the paper has made the paper very brittle and it starts falling apart. It breaks down as it would, you know, if you put it on a compost heap. You know, the natural acid in the paper attacks itself. And so, although you can't get them back to the state they were originally in, you can slow the process down and you can preserve them as much as possible. And this is to use pH neutral repair tapes and various tissue papers that you can put between the layers of stuff. You need to separate them out. So you need to stop having them in bags like this, right? And you need to take them out and separate them and treat them. And it's a process. It's a process you've got to do. So I'm going to show you how it works. So all paper has this, and all paper becomes brittle with age, depending upon the quality. It shows that in that to a degree in that newspaper there. So I'm going to take one of these documents and show you the first way of treating paper. So this one, for instance, here I'm going to take a cotton bud. I've got some water, and you will notice on this document here that the edges, I've flattened them out a bit, but the edges are curling up around the edge of the paper. The best way to treat that is not to try and flatten it as such, but a little cotton bud in a bit of water, like I've shown you, and we're just going to run the cotton bud along the crease like that. And all that does, it doesn't actually saturate the paper, it just softens the edge. I'm going to do it on this side as well. And hopefully just a bit of moisture along that crease, along the crease there, bit of moisture will activate the paper, the creased paper, to revert to its natural manufactured flat state. We don't need to soak the paper, we just need to go along the creases. I'm going to go along these creases as well, so that when we come into the final stage of restoration, the paper will sit flat. So I'll do that with all the creases on here. If you've got sharp creases on paper like this, and it's very old paper, you will find like a sharp crease like that there. You see that? You will find sometimes that you'll try to open them out and the paper is so brittle that that bit will just come off. So it's always best practice to use this method just to soften the paper enough for the paper to return to its natural state. And we'll leave that for a bit. Here. Okay, that bit has got a bit of paper on it, so that helps cover that hole there. Just gently over the paper, that's all you need. So that's the start of the restoration project, which doesn't seem much, but it's a start. Next bit is I'll look for some tears, and we've got tears here. Get the scalpel and just turn these, trying to flatten these edges down as much as we can. So I'm going to repair this tear here. And I'll just use these. These are known as bone folders, by the way. Normally, traditionally made of bone, cow's bone, but these are plastic. And you use them for card making and book folding and various things like that. And they're soft like plastic, but it's kind of like kind to paper. Hopefully doesn't tear the paper. We don't want that, do we? So what I'm doing here is I'm just getting the edges as flat as possible. All these little tears need to be repaired, because where there's a little tear, a big tear will follow. All these creases, I'm just going to burnish down around the paper. Try and get as many creases out as possible before we start. And the edges that I've softened will lie flat, as we can see, or flatter than we had them before. I'm not a professional restorer, by the way, but I have a history of art and art history, etc., etc. So I do know some of these techniques from my student days. So it's nice to have this opportunity to share them with you. So I'm going to repair this bit here. I'll show you how we do that. And what I think I'll do is, as I'm repairing it, we use this tape, this document repair tape called Linko from America. It's kind of like Japanese rice paper, which is kind of very fine, long grain paper, tissue paper, I suppose you'd call it. But it's got a glue on. This has got a glue on, and the glue in this is water soluble. It's guaranteed to last. The repairs are guaranteed to last for about 200 years, which is beyond my lifespan and most people watching this, I should imagine. 200 years, so our children and grandchildren will be able to enjoy these documents. Remember, this document is 1915, so that's 110 years old. This document, as a flyer, was only meant to be displayed around Prescot in shop windows, probably for a few days, a few weeks, if that. So it's really worth doing this, you know, for these documents to preserve our history. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the tear itself, and I'm going to cut a piece of this Linko here. So I'm going to cut that there, and I'm going to separate it now from the backing paper. Just get the edge with the scalpel. Try and make this as flat as possible. Make sure all the tear bits line up in a straight line. And make the repair as neat as possible, and what I'm going to do is, to make it stronger, just fold that edge over. See that? So works over that side as well. We take the bone folder and just burnish it. That edge there. So that is, we can also just moisten it, because it is water soluble, the glue on this. It will help the adhesion properties. Very thin paper. Don't, whatever you do, use sellotape, scotch tape, or anything like that in repairing old documents. Always do it this way, because otherwise you will do irreparable damage. It can't go back. So always use this type of tape for this type of job. Remember, this is an historic document. You don't want to ruin it. It is essential that you do that, because you are the guardian of our culture, and that's what we're doing. We're being guardians, aren't we? We're looking after old things, and old things need looking after, even me, and possibly you, or not, whatever the case may be. So I'm going to do this bit here now, and I'll do that all the way around. Even every little nick and tear I'm going to repair, because when it's stored, it's a weak point, and you only have to catch it once. This has obviously happened when these have been stuck away in drawers, and you know, you're getting things in and out, they just get caught, don't they? Just a natural thing. Of course, when these were saved by whoever saved them, and I must thank, I've got the name of the person who actually passed these on to Ray here, Avril Gaskell from Rainhill, passed them on. So they've been probably belonged to a family relative, grandfather, grandmother or something. They've meant something to them. They've actually gone to the concert, or they've known people who performed in the concert, or they've meant something, haven't they? They've been precious items to them, which often, when people die, they get discarded or forgotten about, and people just think of, oh, they're just old items. And these are the first things to go, by the way. These are the first things to be disposed of. But what I've discovered from these is a fascinating bit of Prescot's history, because I'll just talk a bit about the subject matter here. These are concerts that were held at Central Hall. Now, Central Hall was the old Wesleyan church on the corner of Chapel Street and Eccleston Street. I'll put a photo up of that hall. Sometimes it was called Central Hall for concerts and stuff. At this time, it had stopped being a Wesleyan church, because a new Wesleyan church was built on Atherton Street, and the foundation stone for that was laid in 1908. The one for that. So that became Central Hall then. By 1915, it became a general hall that you could hire for concerts and stuff. And these military concerts, it's a military concert, but they are actually both military concerts, if you see them together there. St Helens Amateur Operatic Society, and this one, Miss Gertie Tither and Miss Ethel Rimmer, who were members. Gertie was a soprano. I'm not sure about Ethel, but Gertie was a very good singer, apparently, and they used to talk about her back in the day. She was a soprano in St Helens Amateur Operatic Society. Now, these concerts are very interesting, because I never knew about these, and I don't think many people did, because there's no record of them, apart from these very special posters, flyers. There were special military concerts put on for the Liverpool Pals, who were stationed in Prescot at the old watch factory in 1915 and beyond. And these were performances especially for His Majesty's forces, especially invited. Admission was free to them, and a limited number of civilians admitted for 2p for a programme. You buy a programme, you can get in, but you're not guaranteed, because they were specifically aimed at entertaining the troops which were going to fight in Germany in the First World War. Now, that is a piece of history that's never been talked about and never been discussed in Prescot before. And yet these documents actually, they document that. Now, that is valuable. If just for that alone, these are invaluable documents. They're a part of Prescot's history that should not be forgotten. And I'm just so glad that they didn't go in the bin, which they were meant to go in the bin. And I'm so glad they didn't. And that we've got them here. And I'm going to preserve them now. And where they go after that? Well, they stay with me for some time. And perhaps when I'm passed on, which isn't soon, hopefully not. Anyway, they'll go to the Prescot Historic Society or an archive somewhere else, but they will be preserved. And hopefully they'll be, by the time I've finished this process, they should be in some kind of pristine condition, or better condition, I should say, than we find them in now. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going around, and some of these little tears we've got around the edges here, I'm just going to deal with them. Doesn't matter if you crease them a bit, because you will burnish them onto the paper. The most essential thing is to stop these tears getting worse. These were printed, by the way, by Edwards, the printers at the tram station, tram terminus that's on the high street. You know, Edwards, who did the all the postcards. It's a publisher. It's actually got Scales and Edwards here. Scales and Edwards printers tram terminus, which was basically John Edwards and company. Scales and Edwards, I've never heard that term before for that company. So they were printed by him, and actually they were printed on a good quality paper. It's a coloured paper, but there is it's obviously a better quality than the newsprint that I showed you earlier from the 1920s. This is from 1915, and it doesn't show much sign of acid erosion. It does where it's discoloured in the creases, and around the edges you can see it's starting to discolour. But as far as the acid's concerned, it's still holding its colour because it's been in a drawer, and still relatively in good condition. These are still relatively in good condition, apart from the nicks and tears, obviously. This one, I'm going to go over the back and do these tears here just to reinforce it. Be interesting to know if you've got any old documents and how you stored them. I think most people just shove them away, don't they, and don't think about how to preserve these things. But if you make it into a little art and craft project, it can be quite absorbing. There are a few videos on YouTube which show you how to do this kind of stuff, you know. And once you get into it, and once you get watching that stuff, it can be quite, you know, absorbing. Okay, there's just a few more tears. We're not trying to hide the fact that it's been repaired, but any repairs that are done here in the future, future historians can see them, and also they can be undone again because the glue on this is water soluble and the paper is also removable. Not anything that we do to this document can be either reversed for historical purposes, or maybe better techniques are discovered in the future, better ways of doing it. They can be done. So nothing that we do here has a detrimental effect to the document, as long as we use the right procedure, the right tools. We're not damaging the document, and that's really important. It can be reversed. A number of times I've seen historic documents where they've just stuck bits of sellotape on and stuff like that. Of course, over the years, the sellotape, the glue in the sellotape decays and the documents fall to bits. And of course, them marks that you've made because they've discoloured, they'll turn brown, or whatever they've done, made the paper more brittle. You can't reverse that. It's not good. So as long as we're mindful that we can reverse all of this, we're fine. You can use similar techniques for photographs as well, and books, old books. You can repair. Using simple techniques. It doesn't have to be expensive, you know. You don't have to. It doesn't have to cost you a fortune to do these repairs. Maybe a full kit like this possibly cost 15 quid, something like that. And you don't need gloves to handle these documents. You just need to wash your hands, make sure they're clean, no grease, no oils on them or anything like that. And see, from the distance, that edge there looks acceptable, don't you think? So I'm just going to do this middle section here. Just burnish the paper, get it as flat as possible. Make sure that all the folds are flattened out. Somebody said to me watching these videos, these repair videos, it's like watching MSMR. Is that what they call it? MSMR? MSAR. just want to use the rubber to rub out them pencil lines that I've just made on that little cutout. You know those relaxing videos you see on YouTube? It's just supposed to send you asleep. But to me, they look more like these soft porn videos. I just wonder why people watch it and who watches it. I'm sure all these women that do that type of stuff are very glamorous. Just wonder why. You can leave your comments below in the video. So I look forward to getting out and about again in Prescot, doing more videos. Got some great videos planned for this year. As soon as I get better, can start walking distances again, and everything that goes with it. I came out of hospital about a week ago, but I've had a few complications with the operation, etc., etc. And the doctor said basically 2 weeks and you'll be running around like a spring chicken. Well, actually, he didn't say that. I think that's what he was trying to say. That central bit works quite well there, but you turn it over, you can see it. It's more obvious on the back because there's no print. Once you start doing this process, you'll see dozens of things that you can restore, and it's so absorbing and relaxing to do, not just to watch but to do as well. It's quite a fun thing to do. So this has just given me the opportunity to do this. So I'm going to carry on now restoring these two documents, and I'll show you at the end what they look like. I'll put it on time lapse using the overhead camera, and just get on with it, and you can see the whole process from beginning to end. If you've enjoyed this video, then please feel free to leave a comment and subscribe to the channel, share on your social media feed, and let me know if this kind of video appeals to you or not. If you'd like to see more of this about restoring old documents, maybe talking about storing and archiving family history footage, that kind of stuff, you know, because it's something I'm really keen on developing, that idea of restoration. These old documents don't deserve really to be in a carrier bag that is stuffed under the stairs or somewhere like that. They need to be preserved. Because if we don't preserve it, we don't use it, preserve it, display it, or whatever way you want to use these old documents, you're going to lose it. Because time waits for no man or woman. It moves on and on and on. And we've got to look after old things, haven't we? And that means yourself. That means myself. And yeah, keep our history alive. Remind young people where we came from and how we got here. That's really important, I think. That the young should know. And if we don't preserve this now, you can bet your bottom dollar bill that these documents would not be here in another 200 years. And somebody, somewhere down the line, would look at these and say, well, wasn't that a good thing that somebody actually had the interest to want to preserve these for us, you know, for them, yeah. Look at that. I've just opened that out there. There was a big hole. But that actually is intact. So if I flatten that down and just stick it, I don't even have to put anything in there, which is great. So thanks for watching, and I'll put it on time lapse and you can watch your little ASMR video. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again on the streets of Prescot. No doubt, definitely on the streets of Prescot. Yeah, see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye. So I'm just going to finish off this section. I've shown you the last bit of the process. And here I've got some archival quality tissue paper, pH neutral free, acid free, which you can buy online. And this is A3 size, so I'm cutting it down to A4. And this is an important part of the process. Remember I said previously in the video that items that you have in your collection, or that you get donated or inherited, family history, or anything like this was Prescot history, they need to be separated. And these are the separators. Now what these do in the whole process is to separate each item. So if they end up in a folder, they end up in the same folder, but they're separate. And what these do is help isolate each item from each other, because if they're isolated, that acid doesn't bleed through to the piece underneath. Now these are some items that I did last night, and they're the same, similar to the ones that I've done in this demonstration. I'll just come to that side. And basically they've been put under a book, and I've had a heavy weight flat iron on top of them, and these have all been restored. You can see the restoration of them, so there's no tears in them at all. And I'll keep these in under this book for a few days, and they're all separated from each other, which is important. And they'll stay in this state for a few days until I store them in a folder, again acid free. We're getting rid of the acid, aren't we? These are the two I've just done now, so they can go in here, separated from the next one. That's protected on top, and a heavy book. There's a weight. Piece of paper to protect the book, and my grandma's good old flat iron, and that's it. So yeah, again, thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.
Prescot town since way back when, crafted by the hands of men. Time is told by gears and springs, magic born from smallest things. Tiny shops with ticking hearts, masters of the clockwork arts, building dreams from metal parts, history in every start. Tick-tock goes the rhythm of life, every second cutting like a knife. In a town where tools were made, legends carved in the watch trade. From ancient crafts to modern day, Prescot found a timeless way. Generations pass the skill, tiny hands with iron will. Each workshop tells a story bold of secrets that the ancients told. In every clock a tale is spun of days that fade with setting sun. Tick-tock goes the rhythm of life, every second cutting like a knife. In a town where tools were made, legends carved in the watch trade. From ancient crafts to modern day, Prescot found a timeless way. Generations passed the skill, tiny hands with iron will. Each workshop tells a story bold of secrets that the ancients told. In every clock a tale is spun of days that fade with setting sun. Tick-tock goes the rhythm of life, every second cutting like a knife. In a town where tools were made, legends carved in the watch trade.